All right, quick question. This month was Groundhog's Day. Did it feel like Groundhog's Day to you? And not because it actually was Groundhog's Day? Because I swear, some sales teams don't need a groundhog. They don't need a weather forecast. They don't need Puxatawny Phil. They just need their CRM, a calendar, and they can tell you exactly what's going to happen next month. The same pipeline conversation, same we need more leads, same deals stuck in the same stages, same forecast optimism, and the same misses keep happening. And then everyone looks around and like, wow, how did that happen again? My name's Anthony Nix, and I'm the founder of Transformative Sales Systems. And today we're going to talk about what I call Groundhog Day style management. Why it happens, why it's so expensive, and what you can do to break the cycle without hiring 5 more salespeople or switching your CRM or yelling louder in the Monday meeting. If you're a CEO, an owner, or a sales leader in a small or mid-sized business, this episode's going to feel a little too familiar. And I'm saying that with all kinds of love. So let's jump in. So the movie Groundhog Day, if you've seen it, you know the premise. Bill Murray wakes up and it's the same day, over and over and over again. At first he's confused. Then he's frustrated. Then he tries just random stuff. Then he starts improving. And eventually he changes because he changes who he is and what he does. And sales leadership works the very same way. Most sales teams aren't stuck because the people are lazy or don't care. They're stuck because leadership repeats over and over. And when leadership repeats, the system itself just repeats. When the system repeats, the results repeat. And what I want to say, and I want to say this really clearly, this is not your reps stink episode. You're in a your management system is stuck on replay episode. And the scary part is this. It feels normal. That's what makes it so dangerous. Because you get used to hearing the same excuses. You get used to the same meetings. You get used to the same pipeline talk and stories. You get used to the same missed numbers. And until one day you wake up and you realize you've been living the same quarter over and over for the last 2 years. And now it's not a movie, it's a growth ceiling. What Groundhog's Day says about sales management looks like this. Let me paint a picture. You're in the weekly sales meeting. Someone says, pipeline looks good. And somebody else says, we just need more leads. Someone else says, we're waiting on the customer. And somebody else in the room, they're reviewing internally. And then there's always that one deal. And you know the one. It's been closing since last Tuesday, which was also last Tuesday, which was also last Tuesday. That deal has more lives than a cat. And nobody wants to call it dead because it makes the pipeline look smaller and it makes people feel uncomfortable. So we want to keep it. That's Groundhog's Day. And then the meeting ends and everyone leaves with the same instructions they left with last week. Follow up, stay on them, send the quote again, check in next week. And none of those are strategies. Those are just habits. And we've talked about that in previous episodes. So here are the most common signs you're in a Groundhog Day loop. Meetings that produce updates with no decisions. If your meeting is basically a roundtable of what's going on, you're not managing sales. You're hosting a podcast, much like this, which is fine. I love podcasts, love doing them, but it's not sales management, which I also love. A pipeline that looks healthy but behaves like garbage. If the pipeline is strong, but revenue is always light, you don't have a pipeline. You have a wish list. Third, coaching that's really just encouragement. Motivation does matter, and your sales team does need to hear those motivational words. But motivation doesn't fix stage conversion. Coaching is the true fixer of that. And finally, strategy that never changes. Same target accounts, same messaging, same approach, same result, just a different month. And when this is happening, the company tends to blame one of three things. Leads. They think they need better salespeople. And finally, let's go out and get us some kind of new shiny tool. And sometimes maybe that's true. Could be. But most of the time, you just need sales management system that forces progress. Groundhog Day Sales Management costs you in three ways. First, you lose your competitive advantage. Your competitors don't beat you because they're smarter. They beat you because they're more disciplined. They're qualifying opportunities tighter. They're coaching in their sales system more. They're managing stages with actual entrance and exit criteria. They're cleaning up their pipeline, and they're constantly improving their message. Meanwhile, you're running the same meeting you ran last year and hoping effort will overcome process. Second, your team disengages. High performers get tired of carrying. Average performers, they get really comfortable just hiding. And culture shifts from win the week to just surviving the week. Now, finally, your customers are going to feel it. Customers can smell inconsistency. They can tell when your process is reactive. They can tell when reps don't have a clear next step. They can tell when your proposal is a here's the number instead of a clear business case. And here's the uncomfortable truth in all of this. When your process is sloppy, the buyers trust you less. When the buyers trust you less, the close rate drops. And then everyone goes, we need more leads. No, you just need less craziness and chaos in your business. Now let's kind of hit a hard truth here. And here it is, right? Sales improvement is not a personality problem. It's a management system problem. And CEOs, especially those in small and mid-sized businesses, you're usually the one caught in the middle. You're wearing 19 hats. You're trying to grow the company. You're trying to keep customers happy. You're trying to manage cash. And sales leadership becomes this kind of background responsibility. So it's not that you don't care. It's that you don't have a system. And when you don't have a system, you fall back on habits. And habits create Groundhog's Day. Now, how can we break that cycle? Well, in the article I wrote that this is based on, I talk about 3 habits that help break the loop. Adaptive leadership, continuous learning, and data-driven decisions. Now let's put some context around that. Adaptive leadership. This doesn't mean changing everything. It means just changing the right things. Adaptive leaders do three things consistently. They listen to the market and not just their sales reps. If the buyers are pushing back on price, it might not be price. It might be value articulation. It might be the wrong ICP, ideal customer profile. You're talking to the wrong people. It could just be weak discovery. It might be proposals are going out way too early. They fix process before adding headcount. Hiring another salesperson into chaos doesn't create growth. It actually just makes the chaos bigger. They coach behaviors, not just outcomes. You can't coach someone into a quota. You coach them into the activities and the skills that produce it. Now, the second one I talked about, continuous learning. Most companies say they value training. Then training becomes a once-a-year event, kind of like going to the dentist and getting your teeth cleaned. You get it done, you feel better, and then you go right back to eating candy. Learning has to be operational. Monthly skill focus, weekly reinforcement, role-playing, deal reviews, call reviews, because the market is always evolving. And if your team doesn't learn, they are invariably going to fall behind. Now, finally, data-driven decisions. This is where most small and mid-sized businesses mess up. They either track nothing or they track everything. And neither one of those extremes work. You don't need 47 KPIs. You need a few that tell you the truth. Now, here are the ones I care about because they force better decisions. Stage conversion rates. Where did the deals die? Where do stalls happen? If you stage 2 to stage 3 is weak, you've got a qualification or a positioning problem. Time in stage, deals sitting too long is a process problem. Pipeline coverage by close date, not total pipeline. Pipeline tied to realistic timing. Win rate by segment. If you win in one segment and lose in another, your targeting is off. Activity to meeting conversion, not activity volume, conversion, because busy isn't productive. Now, here's 3 practical moves you could implement this month. This week, you could get started. And these are extremely practical. There's no real magic behind this. If you want to stop repeating the same month, do these 3 things. Move 1, run a monthly sales strategy review, not more than about 30 minutes. This is not like a deep retreat. It's just a cadence. And on the agenda, you're going to have results versus target, not stories. Pipeline truth, what's real and what is not. Stage conversion and time in the stage. One change you're going to test this month. One change. If you can't name the one change you're testing this month, you're not leading. You're just maintaining. Here's move 2. Turn the weekly meeting into a coaching meeting. Now, you've seen me talk about this and write about this in my past musings. But a strong weekly meeting does 2 things. accountability on commitments, and capability through coaching. Now here's kind of the structure, right? Go over a scoreboard, numbers, real numbers, not narratives. Commitment review. What did you commit to previous week? Did you get it done? One skill focus during the meeting. 1 or 2 deep dives into an opportunity that's in the pipeline. And then you end with clear actions and owners to those actions and a new set of commitments for the upcoming week. Less talk, more decisions. And finally, move 3. Fix qualification so your pipeline stops lying to you. Most sales problems are probably actually qualification problems, just kind of wearing a trench coat and hiding. When reps qualify poorly, they chase bad fits for your company. They discount way early in the process, if you should even be discounting at all, because maybe you haven't made a good value statement or articulated that value to the client. You end up with forecast fantasy and just wasted time. So you need stage exit criteria. So here's an example. Say stage 1 doesn't advance until we know the business problem and who owns it. And that's who owns it inside of the client. Stage 2 cannot advance until we understand the budget range, the timeline, and the decision process. And finally, stage 3, it cannot advance until there's a mutual action plan and next real steps. Now, see how that worked. If your CRM stages are just labels, your CRM is not really a tool. It's a diary. It's a captain's log of what has happened in the past. And diaries don't forecast revenue. Now, finally, tech, it's not the fix. It can help, but a quick word about that is, because this does come up all the time, CRM, call recording, sales engagement tools, AI, all useful stuff. I use it in my business and I use it with my clients. But it still doesn't replace sales leadership. It just amplifies what's already going on. If your process is crazy and chaotic, automation just scales the chaos. So the question isn't, what tool should I buy? The question is, do we have visibility, consistency, and coaching? If the tools improve one of those, it's absolutely worth considering. If it doesn't, it's probably just a shiny object that you'll use for a bit and then shed away. All right, so hopefully that was helpful to you guys. I'm going to start to try to land the plane here. So, if your sales team is living Groundhog Day, it's not because the reps are necessarily the ones at fault. It's probably because the management system is stuck on repeat. And breaking the cycle is not complicated. It's just discipline. Adaptive leadership, continuous learning, data-driven decisions, a monthly strategy review, a weekly coaching meeting, real qualification with stage exit criteria, and that's it. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, but by golly, it works. And I've seen it work over and over. If you want to read the full article, it's called Groundhog Day Sales Management, and I'll put a link in the description. And you could also find it on the Transformative Sales System blog. And if you're a CEO wearing the accidental sales leader hat, and you want help diagnosing what's really happening in your pipeline, about your cadence or your coaching rhythm, reach out. That's literally what we do through fractional sales management. We don't just give advice. We install systems, run the cadence, coach the team, drive accountability until the results change. Because hope is not a strategy. And neither is reliving the same quarter on repeat. All right. Thanks for you guys listening. I very much appreciate that. And if this episode hit a nerve, and hopefully in a good way, shed some light for you, share it with someone else who might need it as well. Someone struggling with a Groundhog Day sales management struggle. You'll know when they are, because they'll talk about how things are the same month after month after month. And if you want more of this content, make sure you follow the show because we're going to keep calling out the stuff that really holds small and mid-sized businesses, sales teams, and management back from success, and always providing practical ways to fix it. And so until the next episode, may your days be great, and we'll see you then. Onward.